The air was cold, biting at my skin and making each breath visible in the night air. My breath plumed out in front of me, a small cloud of warmth in the frigid darkness. It was past midnight, much later than I should have been out. The streets were deserted and the silence was almost deafening. Streetlights cast long, eerie shadows, making the familiar street feel alien and unwelcoming. Each shadow seemed to move with a life of its own. I just wanted to get home, to the warmth and safety that awaited me there. My pace quickened as I thought of my cozy living room. My footsteps echoed on the empty sidewalk, each step a reminder of how alone I was in the vast, cold night. Each one seemed to reverberate off the silent buildings, amplifying the sense of isolation that hung in the air. A chill wind whispered through the trees, rustling leaves like whispers of ghosts, adding to the eerie atmosphere. I pulled my jacket tighter around me, quickening my pace. The cold seemed to seep through my clothes, chilling me to the bone. I was almost to my street, just a block more. The thought of being home spurred me on, my steps becoming more urgent. I could see the dim glow of my porch light in the distance. Relief washed over me, knowing I was almost there. Soon, I would be safe inside, away from the unsettling emptiness of the night. The warmth and comfort of home were just steps away. Then I saw him. Standing under the streetlight at the corner, he seemed almost otherworldly, a tall, thin figure bathed in the sickly yellow glow. The light cast eerie shadows that danced around him. He was facing me, even though I was still a distance away, and he was smiling. It was a smile that sent chills down my spine. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was a smile that seemed to hide 1,000 secrets, none of them good. It was wide, too wide, stretched tight across his face like a mask that concealed something sinister. His teeth gleamed unnaturally white in the dim light. They seemed to glow, almost as if they had a light of their own. I felt a shiver run down my spine, a primal instinct warning me of danger. He started to move. Not walking, not exactly. His movements were unsettling, more like a strange, jerky dance. Each movement was unpredictable, adding to the sense of unease. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. His smile never wavered. It was as if he was playing a game, only he knew the rules too. My breath caught in my throat. The cold night air felt even colder as I watched him. I couldn't take my eyes off him. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to run, but I was frozen in place, captivated by the eerie spectacle before me. His movements were unsettling, unnatural. He moved with a disjointed fluidity that made my skin crawl. Each step seemed to bring him closer, despite the erratic back and forth. Fear, cold and sharp, cut through me. This was wrong. He was wrong. My mind screamed at me to run, but I was frozen in place, caught in the grip of his unnerving smile. His head tilted to the side as if questioning my fear. The smile remained, a grotesque parody of joy. That's when I broke free from my paralysis. Turning, I ran. I didn't look back. The fear was too overwhelming, too consuming. I could feel the darkness closing in around me, suffocating me with every step. Adrenaline surged through me, propelling me forward. My heart pounded in my chest like a drum, each beat echoing in my ears. My feet pounded on the pavement, the sound swallowed by the night. The world around me was a blur, only the path ahead mattered. My chest burned, my lungs screamed for air. Every breath was a battle, but I couldn't afford to stop. But I didn't dare slow down. The thought of what was behind me pushed me to keep going, to run faster. I could hear him behind me. His presence was a constant, terrifying reminder that I wasn't alone. Not footsteps exactly, more like a slithering, scraping sound, getting closer. My blood ran cold, the sound was unnatural, sending chills down my spine. He was faster than me. No matter how hard I pushed myself, he was always gaining. I risked a glance back. The sight of him, closer than ever, made my heart skip a beat. He was closer now, still smiling that horrible smile. It was a smile that promised nothing but pain and suffering. His eyes were wide, gleaming with an unholy light. My breath hitched. Those eyes were the stuff of nightmares. I had to get away. The need to escape was all-consuming, driving me to push beyond my limits. I couldn't let him catch me. My street, almost there. I pushed myself harder, my legs burning with exhaustion. The porch light beckoned, a beacon of safety. Just a little further, a scraping sound right behind me. I didn't dare look back. He was so close, I could feel his breath on my neck. I could practically smell the sickly, sweet scent that clung to him. I lunged for the doorknob, fumbling with the keys. The scraping sound stopped right behind me. He was close enough to touch. The door swung open. I stumbled inside, slamming it shut behind me. The sound echoed in the sudden silence. I leaned against the door, my heart pounding against my ribs. I could hear him out there, faintly. A soft, scraping sound, back and forth, back and forth. He was waiting, watching. I knew then that I would never be truly safe. He was out there, somewhere in the darkness, and he would be watching, always watching, smiling.